Hello and welcome back to this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest Alex Jordan. So Alex, go from R&B to pop to the Beatles. Please continue.
Right. Well, like I said, the Beatles is what really opened my eyes to like all these different genres of music, particularly older genres of rock and roll. And I started to piece together, the more research I did on the Beatles and other acts like them, like the whole British invasion and the musicians that inspired them, like Elvis or like Muddy Waters, the blues generation of musicians. I started to piece together, all of this stuff. It all comes from the same place, rock and roll, pop, R&B, whatever you want to listen to. It all has its roots in the exact same place. And when I got into college and I took a music appreciation class, I really started to get a better idea of it. But I just did so much research and so much, looking into. I focused more on learning as much as I could about music than I could about anything else. That's probably why I did so crappy in school. But I learned so much about the old blues musicians, where blues came from, where jazz came from, and how some people argue that the first rock and roll musician per se, I don't believe it was called rock and roll at that point, but the first rock and roll musician to be recorded, I believe, was Chuck Berry, and that just astounded me because for the longest time I always thought, well, rock and roll it's white people music, and that's what I grew up believing, and then I realized all of this stuff comes from black culture. Muddy Waters, B.B. King, Robert Johnson, all of these musicians, they were black. They were guitarists, and they did blues, and blues eventually evolved into rock and roll, which evolved into punk, metal, grunge, whatever you listen to these days. I just feel like a lot of people just don't really know the history. And if you realize that all this stuff has its roots in the same place, not only do you have a better understanding of what you're doing as a musician, but you have a better appreciation for the people around you and all different kinds of music, not just what you do, but what other people are doing. That's what I feel like is missing in a lot of musicians these days. They can't appreciate anything outside of themselves. Yeah. And I just feel like if you took a chance to like read up about country music or read up about hip hop and where it all comes from, where they originated from, there's bad music everywhere. Unfortunately, some people just can't do what we do, or just don't want to try. They think they can just get away with half. And I just and that's out there. But there are also people that can really, really play and really, really do things, and you don't want to give them a chance because you put yourself in this box where it's just, I only listen to this because this is what I like. But if you took the time to get out of that box and listen to other things and just find the similarities in them, I find so many similarities in pop music and rock music and R&B. It's astounding. And some people are able to take these things and meld it together and come up with something not completely different, but just something out of this world that nobody's heard before. And it's just like...
So learning all of that, where do you feel that learning all of that is leading your music?
Gosh, I really don't know, because I'm sad to say, when I was younger, I was in that box for a long time. I did refuse to do anything other than... I was into pop punk at that time, like bands that I mentioned before, Blink-182, Green Day, and then I got into more contemporary bands like Paramore, All Time Low, Newfound Glory, bands like that. And for a while, that's all I ever wanted to play. And what was aggravating about that was I went to a school where everybody was into metal, and not like Black Sabbath, Metallica metal. I mean, this annoying, horribly produced, keyboards and power chords and screaming everywhere, that kind of metal. And I wanted to shoot myself in the face sometimes, because this is what I had to work with. Yeah. Trying to make a band in high school was so difficult because everybody wanted to do this, and I wasn't touching that with a 10-foot pole. Yeah. But as I got older and I came out of that box and I realized, I can incorporate different aspects of different kinds of music into my own. And that's what makes it good. And it's tricky. It is tricky because I'm not a technical musician by any means. Everything I know how to do, I learned by watching videos or listening to other people and just trying to copy that. So it's very difficult for me I don't have any formal training per se in any sort of music. But I take these things and I look and I observe and I try to absorb things with osmosis. and I try to incorporate some of my favorite parts of every genre of music into my music, you know. And sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes I'm not very happy with the end result. But I have a lot of songs that, you know, they're relatively simple songs. You know, I don't pretend to be this amazing guitarist or this amazing singer or this amazing lyricist by any means. But I like the few songs that I decide to keep and I decide to perform. I love them because this is the result of everything that I learned and everything that I've want to do put into this song. And even though it's not, you know, it doesn't encompass everything, that's impossible. You can't possibly reach everyone. You can't possibly put everything into one song or even an entire album. It just doesn't work that way. Yeah. But, you know, I am happy with where my music is, and I'm happy about I'm not happy about, but I'm excited to see where my music goes, because I'm never going to stop learning. You know, I'm always going to be listening to new things. I'm always going to be hearing new things. And I'm always going to be critiquing it and thinking, what do I like about this? What do I not like about this? And then taking what I like and saying, okay, now how can I use this? So, you know, it's just, I just feel like musicians should be able to keep an open mind and listen to everything, you know? Even if you think it's crap, listen to it and figure out bits and pieces of it that you might like, you know?
That's very awesome, because you said, like, you can't put all the elements into one song or even in one album, because that is the work of an entire career. And even at the end of your career, you won't get everything. But the very fact that you are so open-minded about that means that your music, you know, the end result of your music can only be awesome.
I like to think so.
So what are you doing now as far as your music?
Well, right now, I was recently, a year ago actually, when I got into high school, I was in a band. You might have heard of them, Air and Now. We played a few things. We played Summerside Show. We played in a few places. Cool. And our sound was tricky because I ran into the same predicament I did with a lot of bands that I play with. They want to do something completely different from what I want to do. Yeah. You know, they put themselves in this box. And not to say that's a bad thing, because they were good at what they did. They were all excellent. You know, I just wasn't in that place with them. And so, you know, we decided to go our separate ways a few months ago. And right now I'm working on trying to put another band together called Moondog and the Strays. Moondog as being my Moondog being my stage name. And right now there are no strays. Right now I'm talking to different musicians and, you know, working with people. But for right now it's just me. And right now I'm trying to focus on my songwriting in particular. You know, I'm going back and I'm looking at the lyrics that I used to write, you know, in high school, lyrics I wrote even a year ago, and just realizing how different everything is, and how different my tastes are, and how different what I want to do is. And so I'm trying to reincorporate some of my older music, because I don't want to lose touch with where I came from. That's the big thing. I don't want everything that I did before now to fall by the wayside. So I'm trying to reincorporate, I'm trying to take my past and my present and just try to meld it together for something completely different. And just, I'm feeling it out right now. I'm feeling out myself as far as lyrically and musically, where I want my music to go, what I want it to do, how I want it to feel. Exactly. You know, it's all about the feeling with me. I listen to a song and I think, wow, it moves you. Music moves people and it inspires them. And that's what I want to do with my music, no matter how simple, no matter how intricate, no matter how jazzy or bluesy or poppy or rocky it is. I want people to feel something when they hear my music. And that's what you're after. Music without feeling is useless. Exactly. Let's hear another of Alex's songs, and we'll be right back after this. The song is called Cheshire Cat. I guess I wrote this a couple weeks ago. It's a really weird song. It's about Alice in Wonderland. Thought it was really cool. A lot of my songs kind of have a double meaning. So, like, I wrote the song for a girl, but it's indirectly about Alice. So, yeah. Full of childlike wonder, white rabbits pull me under, driving me mad like a hatter. Your love is what I am.
Cheshire Cat, why do you grin like that? Cheshire Cat, where is your mind at? Cheshire Cat, why do you grin like that? Cheshire Cat, where is your mind at? The queen of my heart, you had me right from the start. Sweet is the taste of your tart, taking my sanity apart. Cheshire Cat, why do you grin like that? Cheshire Cat, where is your mind at? Cheshire Cat, why do you grin like that? Cheshire Cat, where is your mind at? Cheshire Cat, why do you grin like that? Cheshire Cat, where is your mind at? Cheshire Cat, why do you grin like that? Cheshire Cat, where is your mind